Don't worry, I didn't get sick of Sonic yet. Hey guys, it's your least favorite gamer girl, Lolcow Pixels, currently waiting for Resident Evil Requiem to come out. Until then, I gotta toil away at the Sonic mines. Yay. The last time I took a jab at the funny blue dude, I talked about his first mainline 3D outing, Sonic Adventure. You should go watch my video on it for my detailed thoughts, but in short, I thought it was a blast. It was a little simple compared to the other 3D games, but it laid the foundation for the others to build upon, and most importantly, they nailed Sonic's controls. And since it sold pretty well despite being on a failing console, Sonic Team would soon start working on a sequel, Sonic Adventure 2. With a more streamlined rendition of SA1's multiple playable character system, more emphasis on action, a punchier soundtrack, and the introduction of two fan-favorite characters, Sega released Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast in 2001. They also developed it for the GameCube since, as we know, Sega was going third-party at the time, meaning that this game marks the end of an era for the Sonic series, but also the start of a new one. Now, Sonic Adventure 2 is highly regarded as a fan favorite. Everyone and their mother swears by it, and as for me, I mean, yeah, it's awesome. But... Now, I'm going to be playing the Steam version of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle with mods installed to fix a couple bugs and bring the experience closer to the original Dreamcast version. Don't look at that. To start off strong, this game probably has one of the best openings in the entire series.
Sigma Alpha 2 heading due south over the city.
Sigma Alpha 2 is quite the funny government codename thing. I wonder what it's an acronym for. Oh, you cheeky developers, you.
Freeze! What do you think you're doing? Get that hedgehog!
Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here.
Holy shit, he said the thing! Who else but Sonic, am I right? Now, this level sets the tone perfectly just by being the coolest shit ever, and it's also got some really cool level design. I love the opening bit where we're racing down the San Francisco streets, timing jumps on ramps and causing property damage, and not long after, we get off the board to do some good old-fashioned 3D Sonic platforming. Here, we're introduced to some of the changes Sonic Adventure 2 introduces to Sonic's moveset. For one, the spin dash is back, but if you just press the spin dash button instead of holding it down, Sonic does this little somersault move used for breaking crates or zipping under crawl spaces. It's kind of like an early version of Sonic's slide in the modern games. I quite like the somersault here. Some other things this level introduces are swinging on poles, which you need to push the button just at the right time to pull off correctly. And Sonic also has a couple upgrades to his moveset found in future levels, encouraging you to replay previous levels with new moves like in Unleashed or Colors. Of course, these are the Lightspeed Dash and the Bounce Bracelet, two of my favorite moves ever. I miss the Bounce Bracelet so much. Can we please bring this shit back? Another new addition is the Rail Grinding, which is up there with the homing attack and spin dash in the iconic Sonic move pantheon. Rail grinding differs from game to game, and here you need to hold the square button to crouch for speed while trying to keep your balance. For what it is, I think it's pretty fun, but you know, it's really janky. Apparently the PC port fucks up the rail balance sensitivity, so installing a mod to restore its intended behavior makes it more bearable in case anyone didn't like the grinding in vanilla SA2B. Though jankiness goes for Sonic's entire playstyle as a whole. Honestly, I think the controls are great, but compared to Sonic Adventure 1's controls, it's definitely not as smooth. Which is a damn shame, because if this game controlled as well as the previous one, along with all the new additions to Sonic's moveset, we'd probably have the perfect 3D Sonic game. But alas, we don't live in that world. Over the course of my playthrough, I did grow more accustomed to the jank, and the game is definitely more enjoyable when you're hunting for A ranks. Yep, this is the first Sonic game with a proper ranking system. You know me, you know I like a good ranking system in a Sonic game. I'm not a fan of when they're too easy like in Generations. I prefer when the ranking system rewards you for everything, like amount of rings collected, the time it took to clear the level, all that fun stuff. If you want an example of a good ranking system, look no further than Sonic Unleashed. So I'm happy to say that Sonic Adventure 2's ranking system is pretty on par part with that game. Your rank is determined by the amount of points earned, so you need to do just about everything quickly and efficiently. You're also going to want to do as many cool things as possible, like ramp jumps, homing attack chains, basically anything the game compliments you for on the top of the screen. Sonic's levels are good enough to warrant aiming for an A rank, so overall thumbs up to Sonic Adventure 2 so far. They also bring back the Sonic Adventure 1 ranking system, that being alternate clear criterias like getting 100 rings, finding a special Chao, or playing a harder version of the stage. But back to City Escape. Woohoo! Look at me go! This stage has absolutely amazing level design. I don't know why this random sidewalk just turns into a loop-de-loop, but fuck it, logic is overrated. Much like this game, but let's not push anyone's buttons today. And hey, is that one of the most iconic songs in the series, I hear?
Follow me, set me free, trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through, prove it to you. Follow me. Oh yeah.
Thanks for ruining the moment, you asshole! So the level ends with this little set piece where you're chased around by this massive truck, sort of like Sonic Adventure 1's Orko Boardwalk chase, and as much as I love that scene, I think the truck is definitely more iconic. Really, it's just the cherry on top of the best City Escape flavored sundae I've ever tasted. I don't know why I wrote that in the script, but fuck it. It keeps the tension up until you leap into the air and touch the goal ring.
Yes. That was cool!
But enough praise, it's pretty much par for the course for Sonic games to have mediocre boss fights, so whatever, go my gun mobile. At least the music is cool. But never mind that unremarkable boss fight. Why is the military after Sonic anyway?
What?
It all starts with this. A jewel containing the ultimate power.
That's the Chaos Emerald!
Of course, Sonic's only being framed by none other than the self-proclaimed ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog. This plot point is a little confusing since obviously Sonic and Shadow don't look anything alike. So either A, they mistook Shadow for Super Sonic, which is the most likely scenario. B, they wrote this back when Shadow had his beta design that resembles Sonic more. Or C, the humans are just racist since all hedgehogs look the same apparently. Anyway, we get to see more of Shadow's whole ordeal in the Dark campaign, but for now, all we know is that he means business. Before Sonic can do anything, Shadow demonstrates his signature move, Chaos Control, using an emerald to teleport across the arena. Sonic is captured by the military, and scene end.
Not again.
Well, I know that was a little fast-paced, so let's take a small breather. Of course, I gotta talk about this game's world building. I like when a Sonic game puts thought into how the world functions, like in Sonic Adventure or Unleashed, and here the stages are full of personality and they definitely fit this game's tone. I think the level themes are overall more unique than Sonic Adventure 1, and I like those stages fine already. For this game, the devs took inspiration from IRL locations, taking a business trip and using it as inspiration, kinda like Adventure 1. Well, sort of. See, at the time, part of Sonic Team was moving to San Francisco, so most of the levels in Sonic Adventure 2 take after California, if City Escape is anything to go by. I was actually born in California, so this game and I share the same blood, whether I like it or not. As for how the levels are connected, this game does away with hub worlds and instead has each level take place one after another, and we get access to this world map screen in the level select mode. I honestly don't mind the lack of hub worlds. If anything, I don't know how they would function if the campaigns keep bouncing from one character to the next, so yeah. I do appreciate the map though. It unifies the levels, showing where they fit into the world at large, which is really neat in my opinion. Of course, if the military organization GUN is anything to go by, humans also make their return in this game. Just like in Sonic Adventure 1, they're stylized to look anime-esque, or at least I think they are. It's kind of hard to tell when the in-game humans look like this and the pre-rendered ones look like this. On that note, regarding the presentation, the art direction is pretty awesome. I touched on it when I talked about the levels, but the environments have that balance of realism and fantasy I really like when it comes to Sonic's world. Each location looks so distinct and charming. I'm glad Sonic Adventure 2 Battle didn't butcher the game's visuals as badly as other remasters, but there were some visual no-nos I needed to mod out, nothing too major. You'll also see that I'm using an HD texture mod that upscales all the textures, which pretty much remasters this game perfectly in my opinion. Some surfaces might look a little iffy because they are AI upscaled after all, but you know, it looks fine for the most part in my opinion. And this game is also home to one of the best soundtracks in the series, which to be fair could be said about any of these games, but this one in particular is really unique. Each character has their own music genre associated with them, and Sonic in particular has the same old optimistic and determined rock music you'd expect. Real quick, shoutouts to the better version of Sonic's SA1 theme with lyrics by Tony Harnell.
Doesn't matter now what happens. I will never give up the fight. Long as the voice inside drives me to run and fight. It doesn't matter who is wrong and who is right.
A few artists lent their talents to this soundtrack, like Johnny Gioeli and Jun Senoue of Crush 40, and Tomoyo Otani, who made his Sonic debut here and would go on to become the main sound director for the series. I've already talked about his stuff before, he's a genius. The stellar presentation extends to the character models. Sonic now resembles Yuji Uekawa's 2D artwork as opposed to the last model's stubbier, more classic look. Sonic is taller, slimmer, edgier, and he looks more akin to his modern counterpart. I love both models for their respective games, but if you put Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic, and Sonic Adventure 1, that's when I start to have a problem, John Sega. Sonic also has these little wrist upgrades and of course the soap shoes, which look really cool on him, and it gives this game its own distinct identity with how Sonic is dressed up. I also love the way Sonic is animated in gameplay, pulling off little trick animations after a homing attack or a successful ramp jump. It's awesome. Of course, Ryan Drummond returns to voice him, and while he's still not at his best, he's definitely getting up there. Sonic sounds more energetic in this game, which is definitely an improvement.
Now I know what's going on. The military has mistaken me for the likes of you. So, where do you think you're going with that emerald?
But anyway, let's just leave Sonic to rot in prison for a bit to talk about my husband, Knuckles the Echidna. As the self-proclaimed #1 Knuckles the Echidna fan in the world, I gotta talk about his portrayal above all else, and I gotta say, this game's version of Knuckles is peak. Knuckles is now voiced by Scott Dreyer instead of Michael McGarn, and they both relatively sound the same to me. Knuckles still sounds like a chill dude, and I'm all here for it.
Hey guys, long time no see. I must have got lost in the mines. Looking for the Master Emerald pieces was tougher than I thought it would be.
As for his design, he's still a goddamn Chad, and I still love his darker muzzle in this game. It's a shame that it's lighter in literally every other game, but what can you do? Just like Sonic, Knuckles also gets his own upgrades, those being the air necklace, shovel claw, and sunglasses. Do I even need to say anything else? Look at this man, he's so dripped out. Knuckles has never looked cooler than in this game. And like I said before, each character has their own music genre associated with them, with Knuckles' tracks consisting of rap songs with lyrics by 100p. In particular, Knuckles' theme from Sonic Adventure 1, Unknown from ME, has a new remix in this game, and
Streaking lights, loud sounds, and instinct are the elements that keep me going. I am fighting my own mission. Nothing's gonna stand in my way, no.
I mean, it's pretty good. Personally, I think the original is better, but on its own, this is a pretty solid song, and it's very fitting for Knuckles. Some of my other favorites are Aquatic Mine and Meteor Herd.
Let's take a dive in aquatic mine. Once was a cold pit, but now it's a water ride. Makes you wanna sit back, enjoy the life, and do things you like doing, get to shine. It's your bees fighting with the foes all the time, but I gotta do it, they always stay out of line. Sometimes I wanna just chill and land, but I'm the protector of the emeralds and gems. Don't let it hit you in. 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 Don't let it hit you in.
Anyway, Knuckles is just hanging out in the desert levels of this game. I mean, they're probably just reusing assets, and this is supposed to be Sandopolis from Angel Island. That makes the most sense, I think. Anyway, Knuckles is arguing with newcomer Rouge the Bat over who gets the Master Emerald until Eggman intervenes.
I came here following the signal from the Emerald. If I'm not mistaken, this is the Master Emerald, is it not?
Eggman, you're such a stupid chud. This is like the third time you've seen the Master Emerald. Do you not recognize it? 300 IQ my ass. Anyway, Knuckles shatters the emerald, Eggman fucks off, so now Knuckles and Rouge are competing to get as many shards as they can. Like I said before, the campaigns bounce from one character to the next, with each of them having their own gameplay style. It takes the 6 separate styles from Sonic Adventure 1, and they shave it down to just 3. While Sonic had the familiar fast-paced 3D platforming, Knuckles' gameplay is the explorative treasure hunting for 3 emerald shards within a huge, expansive level. Now, I actually really liked it in Sonic Adventure, and here, it's about the same as it ever was, with the main exception being Knuckles has his own stages as opposed to reusing Sonic's levels. And these levels are massive as hell. I remember absolutely hating these levels, but replaying them after you basically know where everything is, it's not all too bad. Sonic levels are meant to be played over and over again after all, and I'd say Knuckles' stages do a decent job at this. Of course, in the vanilla version, the Emerald Radar is complete dog shit since it indicates where only 1 emerald shard is. Yep, just 1. You gotta look for them 1 at a time. Obviously, fuck that. I'm using the better Emerald Radar mod to give back its Sonic Adventure 1 behavior. Argue with a wall, Sonic fans. This is really the only gameplay overhaul mod that is essential in my opinion, unless you count like the better wall collisions and the rail grinding, but you know. Anyway, I think Knuckles' story starts off pretty good in the level Wild Canyon. I especially really like the music.
I don't know, that's what I'm representing. Never seen a Mike Hogg spit like a menace. Wild Canyon fun, I gotta chase a bat, huh? Yeah, Rouge, she's sexy and smooth.
Meanwhile, Tails is on his way to Prison Island to break Sonic out of his capture.
It's a secret military base that is reinforced and super strong. It's called Prison Island. I heard the news about it on satellite TV. I still can't believe that Sonic would destroy the military buildings or rob the bank.
Yep, that exposition definitely didn't feel forced at all. I wonder who Tails could be talking to. Tails makes it to the island and he notices Amy being cornered by Eggman. Oh no, what will we ever do?
My power's failing!
Guard.
Hey, how's that?
Amy is on Prison Island for the same reason Tails is, so Tails kinda just leaves Amy behind to start his first level. Kinda rude of him, to be honest. Tails' first level is Prison Lane, a large hallway within Prison Island. As you can see, Tails' gameplay style is the mech shooter style taken from Gamma's campaign. A notable difference here is the timer. In Sonic Adventure 1, it counted downward and you needed to defeat enemies to add more time. Here, the timer just counts up like the other styles, and enemy chains solely give you points for that A rank. I still think this style is pretty decent, but I'd say it's probably the weakest one out of the 3. The mech stages are very simple, and I don't really feel like they warrant a replay. Anyway, there's not much to say about this level except for the music. Tails' levels use this kind of pop/rock style that sounds similar to Sonic's music, but with a lighter, carefree tone to it. They're a great listen, especially his theme song, which again is better than the SA1 rendition.
Somebody will be waiting for me, so I got to fly higher.
And of course, this way out for Prison Lane. It's also got a live and learn motif, which is a nice detail. So next we get this cutscene, which is unintentionally really hilarious. First of all, this little twirl Amy does is absolutely adorable.
Have no fear. Amy Rose is here.
Secondly, as Amy is desperately trying to pull her usual "will you marry me" routine on Sonic, which Sonic refuses like usual, the motion capture here is really noticeable and really funny. They shouldn't be moving like that. So once Amy frees Sonic, the main takeaway is that Shadow is working together with Dr. Eggman. So on his way to find Shadow, Sonic leaves Amy to ramble away. Kind of rude of him, to be honest.
He's such a brat sometimes.
And now the game is back in 10 out of 10 territory because we finally get to play as Sonic again. Metal Harbor, baby! This level is insanely fun, taking place over the, well, metal harbors of Prison Island. Anyway, this level's got some great moments of spectacle, like the dynamic loops in this part where planes try to carpet bomb you, plenty of homing attack chains to aim for that A rank, a lot of cool rail grinding opportunities, a lot of small rail grinding opportunities, and this level introduces the lightspeed dash, so props to Metal Harbor. I also really like the music, it's really catchy, and the addition of a trumpet playing the main melody makes it stand out. I love it. The only part of the level that's a little mid is where Sonic jumps off a rocket and skates down this garbage chute tunnel thingy, and the steering is extremely sensitive, but it lasts like 5 seconds, so it ultimately doesn't matter. Metal Harbor is still awesome.
Too easy. Piece of cake. Phew. So far, so good. Hey, that's...
That blue hedgehog again, of all places.
I found you, Faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Huh? You're not even good enough to be
I'll
my
make you eat those words.
Beautiful. It's like I'm watching history unfold. I love this moment. I wish I had a doppelganger of my own. That white girl again, of all places. I found you, Faker! Faker? I think you're the fake Lily Sona around here. You're comparing yourself to me? I'll make you eat those words! Well, that was fucking weird. Anyway, this next bit is a rifle fight against Shadow, and for the self-proclaimed ultimate life form, he doesn't take too kindly to the somersault.
Shadow, what are you doing? Hurry and get back here right now before the island blows up with you on it!
Blows up? Gotta get out of here. Find Amy and Tails. Right away.
Damn, they're being generous giving us 2 Sonic levels in a row. Up next is Green Forest, where we need to make it out of Prison Island before the whole thing explodes. Right off the bat, that music is going absolutely crazy, emphasizing the rush of trying to escape, and the whole song is like 90% percussion. Visually, the level looks fantastic. With this level, Sonic Team took notes from the redwood forests of California if the massive trees didn't give anything away. I also love the heavy greenery and foliage, like the red flowers and the little particle effects. It's a shame Sonic has to leave so soon. He's the kind of guy who would love to stop by and enjoy the scenery for a bit. Level design wise, it's nice and tight. It has plenty of hidden shortcuts and homing attack chains, cool loop-de-loop shots, and swinging around on vines to get to the next part of the level is a neat gimmick. I'm also a big fan of the ending that has the ground collapse on you, so you gotta keep jumping around and thankfully homing attacking the springs at the end to propel you to victory. And in the nick of time, too.
This place sure feels haunted. There's no time to lose. I have to hurry and find the Master Emerald.
I ain't gon' let it get to me, I'm just gon' creep down in Pumpkin Hill, I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here, I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel. I can't see a thing, but it's around somewhere. I'm gonna hold my head, cause I have no fear. This probably seems crazy, a graveyard theory. Our ghosts try to approach me and got leery.
Damn, that song never gets old. So yeah, the next level is Pumpkin Hill, that one stage that gets memed on a ton. Visually, it's pretty cool. It's inspired by the mountains in Yosemite Park mixed with a spooky happy Halloween aesthetic. There's of course the titular Pumpkin Hills, the spooky ghosts, the church, the graveyard, a little railroad area, and Big the Cat for some reason. Now, Pumpkin Hill isn't all too bad. The map is pretty expansive, but things like the church and railroad make for good landmarks. Both visually and mechanically, this level kind of reminded me of Knuckles' Red Mountain stage in Sonic Adventure 1, which I remember being one of my favorite stages for him in that game, so I guess Pumpkin Hill is my favorite Knuckles stage in this game. It's pretty solid. The next cutscene has Eggman broadcast his master plan to the world, and before I say anything else, yeah, haha, funny moon pissing joke. It's not fucking funny. If I see any of you crack a Snap Cube joke in the comments, I will literally shoot myself right here, right now. So up in space, a small asteroid reveals itself to be Eggman's newest tool up his sleeve, the Eclipse Cannon. To demonstrate its power, he blows a hole into the moon's surface as the whole world watches in terror. Now the whole world has 24 hours to get Eggman the remaining Chaos Emeralds. With the help of Tails, our heroes devise a plan to locate the remaining emeralds using one already in Tails' possession, since according to him, the emeralds are like magnets having the ability to attract each other. Before we hear any more, Gun tries to apprehend Team Sonic, so now we're completely in run from the cops mode. And of course, Sonic and Tails leave Amy behind. Kinda rude of them, to be honest.
This music does not fit when we're on the run from the military, guys.
So, Mission Street, it's okay. There's really not a lot to say here. It's just City Escape during the nighttime mixed with Radical Highway, one of Shadow's stages. Of course, the music is nice and chipper, and... Say, what's this? Wanted, Miles Tails Prower. Date of birth, none. Hair, fox brown. Place of birth, none. Eyes, blue. Height, small. Complexion, fox. Weight, light. Sex, male. Build, small. Race, fox. Occupations, none. Nationality, none. God, this game is so fucking funny. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about City Escape, but this level has little billboards with cute advertisements on them. Like, there's some for in-universe products like Chaos Cola, Sub Burger, and there's even some Sega ones like Phantasy Star Online and Nights into Dreams. There's also this really funny one that says, playing SA2 is habit forming, don't turn it off. And there's also one for Sonic Team themselves. What a bunch of narcissists. Meanwhile... Aquatic Mine. I spent like 20 minutes playing this during my first attempt. I was so ready to shit on it and call it the absolute worst in the game, but upon replaying it, I got an A rank on the first try, so I guess this is the level that kind of made me realize that the treasure hunting isn't that bad, at least in Knuckles' campaign. First of all, it looks pretty cool. You have small details like the flipped over mine carts, the barrels, the ghosts, the big fans on the walls. It's very nice looking. I will say though, mechanically, it's definitely one of the weaker Knuckles stages. You need to adjust water levels a la Ocarina of Time Water Temple, which can open the way to new paths. You can also swim around in the water, which feels pretty smooth to control, and we get the air necklace upgrade here, which is really only used in 2 stages. So while this level wasn't as horrible as I originally made it out to be, it's not really anything to write home about. Anyway, Knuckles finally meets up with Tails and Amy, and they have a couple funny interactions together.
Where are we anyway? Hey, where you going?
Move aside, Knuckles!
Tails isn't getting a signal from the emeralds, meaning Eggman probably took them to outer space. Tails then finds a signal from a call between Eggman and the president, so the next level has Tails try to catch up to the president's limo. Oh, sorry, this isn't really a level, is it? It's just a tacked-on minigame. Speaking of minigames, would you look at that? Sorry guys, we interrupt this SA2 retrospective to give you the bonus content! Like I said, there's a minigame in the form of the kart racer, which is just kind of whatever. And there's also a multiplayer battle mode where you get to pick which character to play as and race through a stage. The neat thing here is that there's characters not playable in the main campaign, as well as characters who aren't even in this game at all. You can play as Amy, Tikal, Big the Cat, Chao, Chaos, and Metal Sonic. It's really neat to have them all here, and their movesets are essentially the same as the characters from the main game aside from a few differences. While I didn't try out the multiplayer, I did try the Character Select Plus mod to have them playable anywhere, which is fun to mess around with. Of course, if you 100% the game, you unlock a new stage, that being Green Hills. Okay, but jokes aside, this level is pretty fun, and it's a nice callback to the first game before it was overused to death. There's also different character themes for the menus that changes the voice clips after you go from one screen to the next.
What? I'm not good enough for you?
But really, there's only one side mode that everyone cares about, and that's the Chao Garden, baby! You probably already noticed that there's small animals and chaos drives as collectibles found in action stages. is. If you find a Chao key, you get to visit the Chao Garden to raise your Chao. If you'll remember in my 20k Q&A video, I said I thought the Chao Garden was a neat little side mode, but other than that, it's just whatever to me. It sure is a nice pace breaker though. Like I said, you can feed your Chao Chaos Drives and small animals to boost its stats, and you can do other things like give it a name and enter it in a race. Oh man, the race is about to start! Remember, you better win this race or I'll delete you from the game, you mutant mascot!
This is boring. Is it over already?
Alright, GG little guy. Now I know I said I'd keep you alive since you won the race, but I'm disowning you anyway because lol. Sayonara, Melody the Chao. That bit was fucking stupid. Anyway, Tails finally caught up with the president's limo, and we get to see the president negotiating with a terrorist. Sonic and Tails crash the party and trace the call to the abandoned space colony Ark. The gang go to Eggman's secret base located inside a pyramid in the desert. As our heroes get ready to go into space to save the world, we get 3 desert levels, one for each character.
Should be able to get into outer space from there. I don't know what this space colony is all about, but I'll find and destroy that cannon, and then kick their Imperial butts.
All right.
I'll go and find the entrance.
Visually, the pyramid levels are very obviously Egyptian inspired with all the huge statues and hieroglyphs, and of course, since this is Eggman's base, there's Eggman iconography everywhere. You know, for a level called Hidden Base, he sure is not keeping it hidden. Anyway, this level with Tails is good. It also has some unique obstacles like quicksand and a fair bit of verticality compared to the others. And I also really like the music for some reason. I think I prefer it over the other 2 pyramid songs. It just feels so damn cool and motivational, and I especially adore that synth. This is Tails' best song, no contest. After Tails finds the entrance, it's time for Sonic to infiltrate Pyramid Cave. This one's another amazing level with a ton of speed and spectacle. Back in my first playthrough like 5 years ago, I remember this level not really being as good as the others, but my opinion has made a complete 180. It's so much better than I remembered. The background inside is mostly dark, with the level itself being lit by these massive torches. It kinda reminds me of Sonic Adventure 1's Lost World level a little bit. This level brings quite a bit of new toys to play with, like hula hoops that give you a fair amount of points if you leap through them, the hourglasses that briefly open up doors, keys to place in holes to open more doors, and Gamma! Oh my god, Gamma is still alive! This level also gives us the bounce bracelet, and the music is still pretty good. While Tails' song definitely felt more motivational than anything, Sonic's is a little bit more laid back and casual. It's very fitting for him. And last but not least, Knuckles.
What? Why do I have to find the key?
We're counting on you, buddy. The world's greatest treasure hunter.
Anyway, this level is mostly hallways and digging through walls, which all kind of look the samey, unfortunately. There's a map on the wall which shows you where you are, and it's pretty useful. Once you start to trust the map and remember where you are, the level is a lot better. I also like the visuals here. Now that we're deeper into the base, the Egyptian stuff is mixed in with more mechanical elements like the metal floors and massive generator in the center. And don't forget about the zoinks! Look out, gang! It's a mediocre boss fight. 2 in a row, actually. Oh well. Whoa. So Eggman sent that massive golem to slow Sonic down, but afterward the gang hop onto a shuttle, and now they're on their way to the space colony Ark.
Is everyone alright? We should be landing soon.
The hatch doors are open. Sweat it, Knuckles. The only thing in the cargo bay are those
What do you
Master
mean,
Emeralds.
don't sweat it?
Right?
Land the
Knock
shuttle
it
and
off,
let me
Knuckles.
out.
We're gonna crash this thing if you keep that up. Oh no! Don't touch that lever!
I love them so much. Oops, it looks like we're back in Mocap City. There's no way to destroy the Eclipse Cannon from the outside, so Sonic and Tails need to find a way inside. Tails also shows off a fake Chaos Emerald that has the same properties as a real one, which is kinda insane if you think about it. This kid can just create new Chaos Emeralds and he doesn't do it ever again. I feel like this would have come in handy multiple times. Whatever, it doesn't matter, who cares. Visually, the Space Colony Ark is quite the sight to behold. Every small detail makes this colony feel like the technological juggernaut it was 50 years ago. The sleek metal plating on every surface, the fantastic view of outer space, it all just looks fucking incredible. Tails' level is kind of just whatever except for the addition of a new enemy, that being the artificial chaos resembling, well, you know. This means that whoever owned this colony probably took a trip to the Mystic Ruins from the last game for research, which is really interesting, but again, we'll get to that later. They're also pretty fucking annoying to fight. Like, I really don't like these guys. Now, Knuckles' level, Meteor Herd, is where the visuals really get to shine in this expansive mining area with asteroids crashing down on us every now and then. This is probably the tallest Knuckles level, but even so, there's plenty of rockets to propel you upward in a flash. I had a good time with this level. This one in particular is just really fun to run around in and vibe out to that dreamlike music. Afterward, Knuckles is officially halfway done searching for emerald shards. I wonder where the other ones could possibly be.
Very well. If that's how you want to play, I will take it from you.
Get away from my emerald.
So Knuckles and Rouge have this standoff moment where they argue over the jewels. Rouge trips and falls, Knuckles saves her, she reluctantly hands over the remaining pieces, says something kind of racist.
Fine, then just take them. They stinks like echidnas do.
And the two of them split up. I'm gonna get into Rouge's character later, but for now, it's very obvious that Knuckles and Rouge have that classic enemies to lovers storyline, which is perfect. I love their dynamic, and giving Knuckles a love interest who's also annoying as hell to him was genius. I said it before, but Knuckles is definitely the best Sonic ship in my opinion, and if you disagree, I'm sending you to Crazy Gadget, aka Sonic's worst level. Okay, so saying it's his worst level doesn't mean it's bad, it's just not as fun as the other ones. The main gimmick is the switching gravity combined with rail grinding and artificial chaos. I think the level would be a lot better if the gravity just automatically switched instead of you having to push a switch down, but I guess the saving grace would be the music, that and Eggman's PA announcements.
Sonic, there's no time! You're too slow! Sonic, if you don't come here, she will die!
So now Eggman is holding Amy at gunpoint as he threatens to blow her brains out if Sonic doesn't give him the Chaos Emerald. This is such a ballsy move from Eggman. I know he's known for doing crazy shit all the time, but something about him threatening to shoot someone is really funny to me. But not as funny as this exchange.
You thought you could trick me with that fake emerald, didn't you?
So, how did you know it wasn't the real one?
Tails!
Because you just told me, Fox Boy.
So, Sonic totally dies here. Not clickbait. Afterward, Tails is motivated to take down Eggman, believing Sonic to be dead. It's a cool moment for him, but, well, you know. So Sonic remembers that the fake Chaos Emerald has the same properties as a real one, so he uses it to chaos control out of the exploding escape pod safely. It's never really explained how Sonic can do this, but I like to think it's because Sonic's been using Chaos Emeralds ever since his first game. Sonic warps back and meets up with Knuckles before zooming off to shut down the cannon, leading to the last level, Final Rush. Now, let me tell you something. This level, this level. It fucking sucks. 10 out of 10. Now you need to understand that even if I fix the rail balance sensitivity, the grinding is still very janky. This level's whole gimmick is grinding, which isn't helped by the fact that the game's been pretty light on grinding until now, but it's insanely fun. I love zooming past everything and pulling off awesome tricks with these things. There's tons of alternate paths and shortcuts to take if you're skilled. It really is a masterclass in level design. It's also the longest Sonic stage in the game, being about 5 minutes long. Personally, it's up there with Jungle Joyride when it comes to fun, difficult Sonic levels. Even if I've yet to A rank this one, it was still incredibly fun simply attempting to. So yeah, it's fun, it's got plenty of spectacle, it has those beautiful space colony arc visuals, and most importantly, the music is a fucking banger. There's a reason I was excited to see Highway in the Sky remixed in Shadow Generations. The last obstacle in Sonic's way is Shadow. Right before they're about to duke it out, we get this scene that's been burned into my memory. It's super iconic. Up until now, Sonic and Shadow kept calling each other Faker and they were fighting over who was the superior hedgehog. But now Shadow has a little more respect for Sonic and the two of them are about to duke it out for realsies. I'll never forget the dialogue and the music. You know what? I'll just let it speak for itself.
You never cease to surprise me, Blue Hedgehog. I thought that capsule you were in exploded in space.
You know, what can I say? I die hard. You actually saved me, you know.
It was a Chaos Emerald, wasn't it? But there's no way you could have activated the Chaos Control using an emerald that's fake. So, there's more to you than just looking like me. What are you, anyway?
What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
I see. But you know, I can't let you live. Your adventuring days are coming to an end.
So the final boss of the hero campaign is against Shadow. It's okay. All you're doing is just running and trying to homing attack at the right time, so it's like the Green Forest fight, except now it's on this collapsing walkway. At least the music is incredible. Tails and Amy are still grieving the loss of Sonic, but their grief quickly vanishes as they look outside to see Sonic destroying the Eclipse Cannon. And that was Sonic Adventure 2. I'll be honest, I had a fun time even if it was lacking in some areas, like the mech stages being kind of mid, and the story was... I mean, it was alright, but it left me with a lot of questions. Like, why does everyone think Shadow looks like Sonic when he clearly doesn't? Who the hell is this? And just what is Shadow's whole deal? You already know where this is going, don't you?
Eggman steals the research from a military base located on an island to the south. The military's top-secret weapon, Shadow, sealed in the space colony Ark, the 7 Chaos Emerald. When all of the keys have been collected, world conquest will be at hand. Sonic Adventure 2, The Dark Side Story. Long live the Eggman Empire.
Okay, so now we get to see the same events through the villain's perspective. It's a good thing I don't have to spend so much time on the gameplay since it's kind of the same here. I'm gonna be focusing on the story more than anything, but with that said, I feel like roundhouse kicking a 4-year-old because it's time to get dark. The campaign starts with Eggman breaking into Gun's secret base, so first and foremost, let's talk about Eggman. In Sonic Adventure 1, Eggman had the worst character model, no contest. I get that he's not a playable character, so you wouldn't be looking at him at that much, but he looks fucking stupid, okay? SA2's model is definitely an improvement. I don't know what it is, maybe it's the colors or shapes, but this is probably my favorite Eggman model. Of course, Dean Bristow returns to voice him, which is always a treat. I miss this Eggman voice. Yosh.
Yosh.
When it comes to his music, it feels just as sinister as him. It's very trickster core. These songs are music to put your hand in the cookie jar to. And of course, Eggman's theme song, EGGMAN, sung by Paul Shortino, is perfect. I'm noticing a running theme here. This game has some of the best theme songs for these characters.
I am the Eggman, that's what I am. I am the Eggman, got the master plan. I am the Eggman, that's what I am. I am the Eggman, I got the master plan.
Anyway, Eggman is breaking into the base to unearth a top-secret government weapon built by his grandfather, and I was actually surprised to find out that Eggman is much more fun to play as than Tails. He's much smoother to control, there's more enemies on screen to make chaining attacks easier, and the music is better, but I don't know if that makes any difference. The point is, Eggman's really fun to control in his mech, and he's also really funny to control without his mech. At the end of Iron Gate, Eggman logs into his grandfather's private account with the password Maria. He places a Chaos Emerald in the machine, and he finally sees what his grandfather was working on, Project Shadow.
Is that you, Sonic? Are you trying to spoil my plans again? Wait a minute, you're not Sonic? This is impossible!
Oh my god, finally somebody said it. Maybe Eggman's not as dumb as he originally led me to believe.
My name is Shadow. Since you were so kind to release me, my master, I will grant you one wish.
Now what?
Shadow's first playable appearance is in this mini-boss against another gun mech, so skipping that. Shadow and Eggman are officially on the same team. Shadow fucks off to collect more Chaos Emeralds and tells Eggman to meet him in the abandoned space colony Ark. Meanwhile, we get the same scene of Knuckles and Rouge fighting over the Master Emerald, Eggman being a dumbass, and Knuckles shattering the shiny stone to smithereens before starting a scavenger hunt. While Knuckles explores Wild Canyon for emerald shards, Rouge takes a visit to Dry Lagoon. At long last, we can finally talk about Rouge, everyone's favorite sexy bat. I know I said this before for a handful of characters, but Rouge is definitely one of my favorites. A femme fatale government spy who loves shiny jewels and red echidnas. She's honestly a really interesting character, and this is a little off topic, but I hate how some people talk about her. Some idiots completely ignore her as a character and just think she's the boob bat. Sega actually fucking listened to this crowd and went out of their way to censor her design in recent entries, and it just pisses me off. You aren't making her design safer for younger players, you're just making it look worse. If you look at this character design and think it's too obscene, you really need to go outside and touch some balls, because this is the tamest thing ever. Yeah, Rouge has big assets, and while big boobs are sexy, they aren't inherently sexual. You could maybe make the argument that they could tone this down a teeny bit, and yeah, I don't necessarily agree, but I see that perspective a little bit. I think by far Rouge's best proportions are from Sonic 06/Project 06. I actually think everyone has their best looks in P06, now that I think about it. Nothing is saving Eggman's design though. Anyway, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, Rouge the Bat! Her characterization and design are both great, and her voice is really solid. Lady Manila isn't as good as Kathleen Delaney in my opinion, but she's still neat. After all, I'll take anyone over Ku Klux Karen. Lonnie's performance as Rouge gives her plenty of attitude while keeping her flirtatious nature. It's really good.
I despise anyone who takes jewels from me. All the world's gems are mine to keep.
Rouge's music consists of jazzy tracks like Dry Lagoon and Security Hall, which sound great. And of course, shoutouts to her theme song, Flyin' the Freedom, sung by Tabitha Fair.
Tell me what is this feeling? I'm in paradise. I'll keep it forever. In freedom, I'll never stop my steps. I believe in myself. I know that I can. Sure know.
Now, gameplay-wise, she controls just like Knuckles, with the key difference being she dishes out powerful kicks instead of punches. Like Knuckles, Rouge is on the hunt for emeralds, and the first level, Dry Lagoon, is pretty good. And the rest of them, not at all. They fucking suck, but we'll get to that later. Eggman's next level is Sand Ocean, where he basically just enters his secret pyramid base in the desert during the night while destroying a handful of pesky gun robots along the way. Once inside, Eggman turns on the news and sees a report of Shadow robbing the bank for a Chaos Emerald, but of course the humans are stupid as fuck, so despite seeing Shadow on screen, the news refers to him as
world-renowned hero, Sonic the Hedgehog.
As Shadow is overseeing the military forces scramble to get him atop the Golden Gate Bridge, he gets a vision of the tragedy unfolding on the Ark 50 years ago. The tragedy of losing his friend Maria to the military. As he promises revenge on humanity for the loss of Maria, we finally get to play as Shadow in his first level, Radical Highway. But first and foremost, I can finally talk about Shadow the Hedgehog, the single most important character in the entire game, and one of the most important characters in the franchise. I still stand by what I said in the classic Sonic video. Metal Sonic is by far the best rival for Sonic, but Shadow is definitely a worthy adversary. He does such a great job at being a twisted reflection of Sonic. Being created in a laboratory by Professor Gerald Robotnik, Shadow's abilities are electricity-based with his iconic Chaos Spears, Chaos Blasts, and of course Chaos Control. Unlike Sonic, who does what he does because lol I felt like it, Shadow's motivation in this game is directly tied to the pain of losing his family. With Shadow, you can see how each game gets more and more complex with its narrative. The classics were very simple. Sonic Adventure 1 tackled themes like genocide, and SA2 introduces grief and revenge. When it comes to his design, it's very iconic, especially how he's proportioned in this game. When designing Shadow, Kazuyuki Hoshino took notes from Spawn, and even if the concept art says otherwise, Shadow is definitely not based on Vegeta. His voice is absolutely perfect. David Humphrey knocked it out of the park in this game. Shadow sounds sinister yet broken, mixed with a bit of cockiness. He brings a fair bit of nuance to the character, and all in all, this is the voice I hear when I'm reading something like the IDW comics.
My name is Shadow. I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games. Farewell!
Shadow's music consists of muted vocals and an overall dark and evil tone. Shoutouts to his best song, White Jungle. Also, his theme song is really fucking good. I don't think it gets the love it deserves. Throw It All Away by Everett Bradley is one of the most fitting character themes in the series. It sounds just as dangerous, foreboding, and badass as Shadow. Some of the lyrics definitely feel a little weird, but I still love it. Now, back to Radical Highway. Shadow controls like Sonic, except he doesn't have the bounce bracelet, and he has a slower acceleration rate thanks to his air skates. So while it isn't as fun as controlling Sonic, he's still pretty solid to play around with, and it doesn't really need to be as fun as Sonic. Shadow isn't having fun, he has a job to do. That job being breaking through the military forces. I'm gonna be honest, I've grown kinda tired of Radical Highway recently, but this playthrough reminded me of just how awesome the original was. Visually, it's pretty cool, taking place over the city under the night sky with cool details like the Got Ring blimps and crimson red street borders. It's basically Speed Highway, but angry. It also has some great moments of level design, like the opening where you get to grind down the Golden Gate Bridge, mirroring the shot of Sonic falling down to the streets of his first level. This bit where you gotta somersault under a tight space before quickly jumping and homing attack these enemies, it's really cool. This has gotta be Shadow's best level. Granted, that's not a high bar because he got the short end of the stick when it came to levels, but don't worry about that for now. So then afterward, they do the
It all starts with this
scene. Sonic is captured and we cut to the desert. Rouge wants to make it inside Eggman's pyramid base, but she needs to look for 3 keys to get in. Rouge's next level is Egg Quarters. This level fucking sucks. It's Rouge's version of Death Chamber, except without the interconnected rooms accessible via digging. It's just one long hallway with rooms here and there. It can get a little confusing looking for the keys, not helped by the fact that Eggman's security system shoots you with lasers if you approach this drone thing. One of the only positives I can think of is the music, because of course it is, and like I said, Rouge is a government spy who's secretly working for Gun, and she's on a mission to find out just what's going on with Shadow and Eggman. Once she finally sneaks into the base, she learns that the base has a space transport which leads up to the Ark. On the Ark, Eggman's next level is Lost Colony, basically Tails' Eternal Engine stage, except the lights aren't on and it's a lot more fun. Once in the control room, Shadow drops some exposition on Eggman about his grandfather's legacy. 50 years ago, Gerald Robotnik created the first space colony along with the Eclipse Cannon, a weapon of mass destruction that harnesses the power of Chaos Emeralds to destroy an entire planet. To reactivate the cannon, they need the 7 emeralds in their possession, and with a weapon as powerful as this, Eggman can take over the world and Shadow can get his revenge on humanity.
I like the way you think, Shadow. I will get the Chaos Emeralds. Use the machine to dominate the world and build a legacy
Do you really
of my
think
own.
it will be that easy?
Rouge, let him finish talking for God's sake. So Rouge has a little business proposition for Eggman, offering her services as a treasure hunter in exchange for
If you could just let me borrow that radar, I may be able to help you.
a radar. Doesn't she already have one? Rouge brings them the second Chaos Emerald to win their trust, so now they're one big, happy, evil family. Isn't that nice? So now not Team Dark is on a mission to Prison Island to snatch a couple Chaos Emeralds from the vault. It's a perfect plan. Set within a 30-minute time limit, Eggman will distract the military, Rouge will swoop into the vault and steal the Chaos Emeralds inside like a thief in the night, or a thief in the vault. That was stupid. And Shadow will plant explosives everywhere because this couldn't have been a simple covert operation. Eggman just had to be Eggman. Eggman's next level is Weapons Bed, which is the level that makes you feel like a devious little troublemaker the most. Hey kiddo, want to destroy government property? Here's like 30 deactivated robots. It would be funny if you locked onto them and opened fire. Yippee! Eggman's having the time of his life destroying everything, and I am definitely not projecting.
Yosh!
Yosh indeed, my friend. This is where Amy shows up for Tails to rescue rescue her, and this is the first time she mistakes another hedgehog for Sonic. Normally, I would just say she needs to get glasses or something, but everyone else seems to think that this looks like that. So Amy's just going with the flow, I guess. One embarrassing boss fight later, Rouge is in the vault looking for 3 Chaos Emeralds. Eggman tells Shadow to set the bombs off in 15 minutes, but
5 minutes should be plenty. Here I go.
Security Hall is actually better than Egg Quarters in my opinion, but keep in mind I had to download a mod to fix the radar, otherwise I would have gone insane during this level. The 5-minute time limit doesn't really make a difference anymore since that's basically how long it took for me to beat every treasure hunting level so far, so this was just another normal level. This massive vault has a ton of verticality, including an upper level with laser beams to dodge, and even if the level could be better visually, it was fine for the most part. Rouge accidentally alerts a gun mech, locking the vault down, and after another boss fight, Rouge is trapped inside with no hope of escaping before the bomb is set off. What sets off now, though, is Shadow's PTSD of losing Maria. He couldn't save her from the tragedy of 50 years ago, but he still has a chance to save Rouge. This moment is a reminder that even if Shadow wants revenge on humanity, deep down he's still a good person, and he's going out of his way to save a friend here. Up next is White Jungle, which is literally just green forest, but white. It introduces these slingshots to get from place to place, which is cool I guess, but besides the cool rainy and foggy visuals alongside the incredible music I already talked about, I got nothing. Sorry. Uh-oh, now it's time to fight Sonic. Don't worry, it plays out exactly the same as the hero campaign, so he knows everything I'm going to do, but that's not gonna help him since I know everything he's gonna do. Strange, isn't it? Shadow gets into the vault, grabs Rouge, and uses Chaos Control to warp out in the nick of time before the island blows up. Afterward, we get a nice flashback of Shadow talking with Maria, staring at the planet below, yearning for a life down there.
Shadow, what do you think it's like on Earth?
The professor said his life's work was dedicated to all of those who live down there. He once told that the reason for his existence was making people happy through the power of science.
Shadow.
Maria, I just don't know anything anymore. I often wonder why I was created, what my purpose is for being here. Maybe if I go down there, I will find the answers.
Rouge thanks Shadow for saving her, but Shadow denies it, saying he only came back for the emeralds. Now that our villains have 6 emeralds, they have enough to threaten the world with the Eclipse Cannon, blowing a hole into the surface of the moon, but they still need to collect the last emerald. And what better way to give away the location of the last one than a nice callback to Sonic Adventure 1? After Tails saved Station Square from Eggman's missile, the citizens threw him a ceremony in his honor and awarded him with a Chaos Emerald, making Tails their next target. As Shadow and Eggman make their way back to Earth, Rouge gets in contact with Gun, sending them a status update on her mission to research Project Shadow. And then she proceeds to partake in the kart racing minigame. Okay, look, these next few parts of the Dark campaign, it gets bad, man. I really don't like what happens now. I have a hunch they put all their effort into the hero levels because it feels like they just gave up here. Skyrail, for example, it's not a bad level by all means. It's just a very standard speed level that takes place in Pumpkin Hill during the day for some reason. This music doesn't sound very fitting for Shadow. This feels like something that'd play in one of Sonic's levels. This was most likely what they were going for since there's apparently beta screenshots of Sonic and Skyrail. Story-wise, they're still going after Tails. There's an Egg Golem fight as Eggman, which happens after Sonic's boss with it. And we finally get another Rouge level, and this one is easily the worst section in the entire game. Mad Space is a pretty accurate title because playing this level nearly drove me mad. This level is confusing. It's also very janky and downright tedious to traverse. I genuinely hate it. With this level, Sonic Team dared to ask the bold question, what if Super Mario Galaxy fucking sucked? This level has that Mario Galaxy gimmick of running around on floating planetoids with their own gravity, except this game came out 6 years before 2007. The gravity gimmick is just plain janky here though. One minute I'm minding my own business, just gliding around and looking for shards, but if Rouge so much as frots her girl cock against this planetoid's equator, she'll just start running around in circles. I am not doing this on my own. This level does have some distinct landmarks, yeah, but some of it really confuses me. Some of these these moons look exactly the same, so I mistakenly backtracked to the same one unintentionally quite a few times. Also, the hint monitor's pins are backwards. Why? I don't know, because fuck you, that's why. I hope you got all that because there's no way to reread it. This complaint is kind of minor and it probably doesn't matter to some of you, but it's still annoying, okay? Sure, the music is good, but all the good music in the world couldn't fix this travesty. Oh, and take a look at this absolutely genius instance of level design. I got 2 out of 3 shards collected, so I'm just looking for the last one. I climb up this wall and the radar starts to go off like crazy. The shard is on this platform here, so digging underneath, yeah, what the hell. So I keep digging thinking that probably the shard is slightly on the right or something, but no matter what, I come back empty-handed. Then I get the stupid idea that it's probably on the side of the platform, but surely that doesn't make any sense. Why would the devs place it to the side of the platform?
I got it!
I'm never playing this level ever again.
Hand over those Master Emeralds.
Give me back those jewels.
But it's okay because now we get to play as Eggman again, and that makes me so happy. Cosmic Wall is the final Eggman level, and it's also the longest, lasting about 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes of locking on and opening fire. This level also has a gravity gimmick, that being the low gravity of space used to make large jumps and temporarily ascend with the jet booster. It's fun, and the level is built around it in a neat way. There's also these rail sections where you can just mow down everything on the screen, which is fucking awesome, and the music is amazing as usual. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that because we're back to being shitty. Final chase time. Yay! Comparing this to Final Rush is really weird to me. Final Rush was an incredible level with tons of branching paths and movement options thanks to the rail grinding. I seriously love that level so much. Final Chase, however, the level revolves around these rotating drums that pull you in if you approach it. Conceptually, this gimmick isn't a bad idea, but the way the level implements them makes it so you can't really take any shortcuts or alternate routes with them, which is a bummer. There is one bit where you have a little more freedom with them, but for the most part, the level is designed around you slowly walking on them, which is kind of a slog. They also straight up ripped parts from Final Rush and plopped it into this level, and they thought I wouldn't notice. Those bastards. So yeah, Dark Story is basically done. This campaign was weird, man. I'm kind of at a loss of words here. Whatever, let's just move on to the ending now. I feel like this video is going all over the place because after I just got done bashing the final Dark levels, aside from Cosmic Wall, I'm about to go over why I think this game has one of the strongest finales in the entire franchise.
The ultimate life form.
Chaos
Vengeance.
Space prayer.
Supersonic.
Tears.
Untamed power. Maria.
Professor Gerald, the truth about 50 years ago.
Sonic Adventure 2. Last episode. Wishes are eternal.
With all 7 Chaos Emeralds collected, Eggman prepares to fire the Eclipse Cannon. Wait, didn't Sonic already destroy it? Or did that explosion not mean anything? So Eggman is about to activate the Eclipse Cannon, but everything starts to go haywire as the entire space colony starts to crash towards the Earth. As Eggman's trying to make sense of all this, a recording of his grandfather, Professor Gerald Robotnik, starts to play. And once all our characters are gathered in the control deck, we get to see Gerald Robotnik's execution via firing squad.
I plan to give you a taste of my revenge once all the 7 Chaos Emeralds are collected. Once I initiate this program, it cannot be disabled. All of you ungrateful humans who took everything away from me will feel my loss and despair.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No.
Ready!
As Eggman enters the room, he hands Rouge the diary of Professor Gerald, detailing the truth of what happened 50 years ago. Shadow was created aboard the Ark to cure a terminal illness Maria had. While Gerald saw Project Shadow as beneficial to humanity, Gunn feared the prototype buried deep within the space colony. The military was sent up to the Ark to shut the project down and eliminate anyone associated with it, including Gerald's granddaughter, Maria Robotnik. Gunn then shut down the Ark under the false premise that a fatal accident occurred. Racked with grief, Gerald conducted a plan of revenge against humanity after they took everything from him. Once Shadow is freed, he would gather the 7 Chaos Emeralds to cause the space colony to destroy the planet, and it wouldn't be set in motion until 50 years after Gerald's death. I gotta be honest, as much as I thought the story was pretty alright so far, the final campaign is where it all sorta comes together. The Ark disaster is probably one of the most iconic points in history in the Sonic universe, and I think what really tops this moment for me is the voice performance from Gerald by Mark Bianchi. This monologue monologue is super bone-chilling.
I found Maria's name among those who died when the Ark was shut down. She meant everything to me, and I couldn't bear the thought that she died because of my research. I lost everything. I had nothing more to live for. I went insane. All I could think about was to avenge her. Somehow, some way. I got scared as I no longer was able to control my thoughts.
With the colony approaching the Earth's atmosphere, all our heroes have to team up and rush to the Cannon's core to stop the Chaos Emeralds and save the world. If they can just get the Master Emerald to the center, they may just have a chance to cancel the space colony's devastating collision course. Once Eggman maps out the perfect route to the center, we get to play the final stage in the entire game, Cannon's Core. And I gotta say, this level is pretty fucking awesome. We take control of all the characters one after another, except for Shadow, because holy fuck did he get shafted when it came to these levels. And each of them have a part to play in breaking down the Ark's security doors. We start by taking control of Tails, then Eggman. This section is the finale to the mech stages, and it's a fairly simple hallway with cool new mechanics like these clock things that temporarily stop time and moving blocks that can be used as platforms. Aside from, again, the artificial chaos being annoying as hell, this section didn't give me much trouble. It's carried heavily by the music, which is appropriately titled Scramble to the Core. This song tries to blend in the feeling of both Tails and Eggman's music, and I think it works great. Though the song during Rouge and Knuckles' portion feels more like an Eggman song than anything, but it's still amazing and it still fits this part of the level. The second portion of Cannon's Core has us control the treasure hunters, first as Rouge, then as Knuckles. It takes place in this large boiler area with orange tinted water, which looks fucking sick. Once we fill the dome with water, we get to do a longer bit with Knuckles as he swims underwater, occasionally stopping time to swim through corridors with strong currents. This level also practically requires the air necklace to beat, so if you miss it in Aquatic Mine, good luck, dude. Sonic is up next as he rushes to the core, and this is where the music starts to ramp up. Shit just got serious. Unfortunately though, this part of the level is sort of bare bones. It does test stuff out like the bounce bracelet and somersault, but I wish it could have utilized more of Sonic's moveset like the lightspeed dash or grinding. It would be a lot better if they did, but for what it is, it's still a great set piece carried by the music and techno visuals. But again, fuck the artificial chaos. Gerald was probably high when he made them. One funny water slide later, we get this scene with Shadow and Amy back in the control deck. Shadow is still suffering over his identity crisis after Rouge showed him the prototype ultimate life form, which I definitely didn't forget to mention earlier, so he decided to sit this one out, but Amy tries to convince him otherwise, saying,
I know that people fight over the most trivial things. Some people may be selfish, like the professor said. But they're basically good if they try their best and never give up on their wishes. They always have a reason to be happy. That's why you should help them out. Saving them is a good thing. Shadow, I beg you, please do it for them. Give them a chance.
This gets rid of Shadow's amnesia as he finally remembers Maria's dying wish. All this time, she never wanted Shadow to carry out revenge against humanity, but to make them happy. Honestly, this part is executed pretty choppy, and I think it could have been done a little smoother. I think the way they went about it in something like Sonic Movie 3 feels a little more natural, but regardless, this moment where Shadow finally remembers the promise he made to Maria is still pretty sweet. Back in the core, we see that it's designed after the Master Emerald trying to harness the Emerald's power, confirming that Gerald did in fact take a research trip to Angel Island. After Sonic and Knuckles make it to the center, the prototype ultimate life form makes its grand appearance using the power of chaos control, the Bio-Lizard, a massive reptilian monstrosity hooked up to a life support system sealed away in the core for 50 years. Shadow's contribution is putting an end to his failed prototype in this pretty cool boss fight. Thematically, this boss is incredible. The dark visuals of the Ark core along with the grotesque design of the Bio-Lizard is perfect, and the whole boss fight has this somber and disturbing vibe thanks to the music supporting me. It does a decent job at pumping you up for the boss fight while also sounding kinda dark and disgusting. I know it's been remixed a few times, but the original is hands down the best version. Gameplay-wise, the fight it's decent. It's a good thing Final Chase was a level in this game because it tests your ability to move back and forth for a little bit. Then afterward, we gotta dodge the purple burp orbs, which I kinda suck at, and then it's a short rail grind and homing attack to damage the life support system. The second half where you gotta homing attack the orbs is a lot better, especially when the gravity starts to go haywire, but all in all, Shadow did not hold back here.
Get out, you ugly prototype!
Meanwhile, Sonic and Knuckles make their way to the shrine, and Knuckles recites Tikal's prayer from the last game to nullify the Chaos Emeralds, which doesn't work, as the colony is still crashing towards Earth and the Bio-Lizard warps away. The Bio-Lizard is now outside the space colony, becoming one with it and continuing its collision course, so as per Sonic the Hedgehog tradition, Sonic and Shadow use the power of the Chaos Emeralds to transform into their super forms and save the day. And they also jerk each other off in the air for some reason. This is the final boss of the whole game, Super Sonic and Super Shadow versus the Bio-Lizard outside of the space colony before it crashes down to Earth. I hate that I have to mention this every single time, but once again, Super Sonic fights pre-Frontiers have never been all that impressive when it comes to the actual gameplay. Dodging projectiles and popping the prototype's pimples? Yup, that sounds about right. I honestly think the fight with Perfect Chaos in the last game was better solely due to the fact that it wasn't as annoying, but I'll take fighting the Bio-Lizard over Dark Gaia and the Time Eater any day. And besides, visually and thematically, it's still incredible, especially the music. Once the Bio-Lizard is done for, Sonic and Shadow give it their all to push the Ark back in its place in space with one final Chaos Control!
Maria, this is what you wanted, right? This is my promise I made to you.
Now, considering this was supposed to be the last Sonic game, Shadow sacrificing himself to save the planet and fulfill his promise to Maria would have served as the grand finale to the franchise. If it all ended here, it would have been a pretty satisfying ending. As the credits start to roll, our heroes lament the loss of Shadow, the ultimate life form who fulfilled his purpose for the good of humanity at the end.
Do you really think that the professor created him, Shadow, to carry out the revenge on all those who live here on Earth?
He was what he was, a brave and heroic hedgehog who gave his life to save this planet. Shadow the Hedgehog.
I guess you're right.
As a child, I looked up to my grandfather because of all the great things he accomplished in his life. He was my hero, and I wanted to be a great scientist like him. But did he really mean to destroy us?
I don't know, but what I do know is we all did it together!
That's 2 games in a row where Tails has a ridiculous line at the end. I have a headcanon that Eggman was genuinely having a redemption arc over here and becoming a good guy, but Tails' line was just so distasteful and out of place that he came back next week to be evil again.
So what's next for you, Rouge? Off again to find those jewels you love so much?
Nah, I think I'm gonna give up this line of work. Too much work for too little pay. Anyway, I've got something better than jewels that I'm thinking about right now.
See? Noxus is the best Sonic ship!
What's the matter, Sonic?
Oh, it's nothing. Come on, let's go home! To the planet as cool and blue as me! Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
And that was Sonic Adventure 2. This game is an amazing masterpiece, but unfortunately it was held back by a few aspects, which really hurts to see. It was so close to being perfect. While they did streamline SA1's multiple character system, some characters got the short end of the stick when it came to levels, and it's very obvious which levels didn't get as much care as others. And while I did enjoy the final act of the story, most of the game's narrative doesn't hold a candle to the finale, especially during the dark story when they forced you to watch a cutscene you've already seen. Hell, it could have been worse, because it literally is. I had to mod it to make the treasure hunting levels more bearable. But despite all this, I enjoyed the game and I still had a great time overall. They still nailed almost all of Sonic's levels, evolving the formula from the last game in a cool and interesting way. The soundtrack is iconic. Hell, Shadow's mere existence is enough to warrant this game's existence. This game is still an all-timer, and I think it's amazing enough to be an S tier. Rest easy, heroes. Of course, we all know this isn't the end, far from it. Sonic would find new life as a third-party series appearing on other consoles like the GameCube and PS2. Porting the adventure games to GameCube as well as crafting the iconic and charming Sonic Mega Collection was a genius move to indoctrinate Nintendo kids into becoming Sonic fans. Sonic would also make some handheld games in the form of the Advance and Rush games, and since Shadow was massively popular after Sonic Adventure 2's release, Sega brought him back from the dead, making him a mainstay. You guys know what games are next, so this should be no surprise, but that can wait for another day. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notif bell, and follow me on my other socials if you want to keep up with my other stuff. You can also become a patron to get cool perks like monthly art pulls, getting to see your name on the end screen, and watching videos early. I recently introduced a $10 tier that has me read out the names of supporters, so shoutouts to Roxy J, the only $10 supporter for now. Yeah, I'm not dead either, you asshole! Let's settle this once and for all! I want to go out of order next time, if that's okay with you guys.